All right. Hello, everybody. Okay. So today, I like to talk about stress and anxiety. I am a stress and anxiety coach. This is what I do. I help you simplify life, like just break everything down. I really do believe, first and foremost, we can have it all. We just need to stop overcomplicating and really get back to basics and simplify things. We almost have to get into that, like when we were kids, like things are simple. Like, how often do you talk with a kid and they just look at things from this basic, simple viewpoint? And in our adulthood of, oh my God, I have to pay bills, oh my God, work, oh my God, this. And then we talk to everyone else and that hustle, and all of a sudden, all this stress and anxiety, and it just kind of leaches into us. But we can get back there because, again, when I talk about what is not simple about paying a bill, like literally, whether you go online, you go to your bank, you go to a store, whatever, wherever you pay your bills, what is complicated about going in and literally paying that bill? Nothing. Now, some people, oh, it's more complicated than that. No, it's not. Paying a bill is simple, but we complicate it with how much money's in my account. Can I pay my next bill? If I pay this bill, what do I have left? With all of this other drama, that's how it gets complicated. We complicate it, but we don't have to do that. It's just taking things, we remove the emotion and we deal with facts. Fact, what is in your bank account? Don't let that anxiety come in. You want to look at things from a very factual point of view. Now, I will say there's a time and a place for emotions. I don't want to be like, go on robot mode. That's not what I'm talking about here. But I'm talking about getting rid of anxiety, lowering the stress, and just looking at tasks from a logical, more neutral emotional place. So I'm not saying don't have emotion in life. I'm talking about when we're actually thinking about tasks, paying a bill, buying this, doing that. Like, we want to really be factual about it, right? This is Anxiety comes from emotion. Anxiety is fear and worry. It's an emotional response. So instead of like opening the bank account and be like, oh my God, and freaking out and having all this anxiety and be like, oh my God, how am I going to live? How am I going to, we just open the bank account and it's like, okay, X number of dollars, noted. Okay, do I have a problem? Like, I can't pay a bill, noted. Okay, well, this is a problem that has to be solved. How am I going to solve this problem? So whether it's, borrowing money, maybe you take off a line of credit to pay a bill, like whatever it is, it's a problem that has to be solved. Pulling those emotions in, fear, worry, anxiety, does not solve the problem. It's not going to get your bill paid. So this is the type of thing when I talk about making everything simple again, removing that emotion. Let's get down to facts. Let's get down to problem solving only and figure it out. Anyway, that is not what I wanted to talk about today. That will be another episode. So what I want to talk about is something I realized just this morning while I was running. I had a really great session yesterday with my mentor, and I it just sparked a few things in me about like trusting myself and really, that embodiment. If you're in the growth um community, lots of the gurus like the Bob Proctors, Tony Robbins, and all of these things, they talk about like future you, quantum leaping, leveling up. These are all things like next level you. And one of the things, because they talk about future you. So if you're like me, you're trying to embody new you, you're trying to level up, you're trying to, and even when we talk about stress and anxiety, like future you doesn't worry about money, future you doesn't have anxiety, future you doesn't worry about, 3 turns down the road if the traffic's going to be high because you have to turn left. You deal with the left turn when you're at the left turn, and then you look at the traffic, and like future you doesn't let stress bog her down and not finish tasks. Future you doesn't, yell at your husband and your kids because you're so overwhelmed and you just have nowhere else for this emotion to go, and you're irritable and you're angry and you can't handle anything. Like future you doesn't do all these things. So it does apply in the stress and anxiety world of like, who's that person you want to be? Who's the person you wish you could be today? Future you, let's get to her or him, that leveling up. So I kind of want to talk about that because almost all the coaches, and I think literally all the coaches I've talked to, they talk about this embodiment. And even a few videos where I've looked up different people that talk about embodying you, become next level you, all of these things. And they're like, okay, act as if. This is the thing everyone says most of all. Act as if. Act as if you already have that money. Act as if you already have that life. Act as if you are her. And if you're like me, I realized this morning, I am hyper logical. I will tell you a little story from my childhood. Just a little warning for, I know this is YouTube, but it is about, I was being potty trained. So, but this is just how logical, and for some things that might be gray areas for other people, I think they're more black and white for me. So when I was about 2 years old and my mom is trying to potty train me, and I was a smart girl, so she couldn't understand why I wasn't getting it. I would sit there and on my potty for, even an hour, and I would just be content, and she'd tell me to stay there and wait for me to go so she could, do the applause and stuff like that. And I would never go. And then as soon as she would pull up my diaper, I would pee in my diaper. And she couldn't figure out like where's the missing link? What is happening? Like, why is she not getting this? So one day, kind of randomly, she gets rid of my crib and she puts in a big girl bed. And she calls me up to look at my new big girl bed. And I was so excited. And I ran to the bathroom and I peed on my potty. And she was like, what just happened? So she asked me, like, why did you just do that? And I very simply said, babies sleep in cribs, babies pee in their diapers. Big girls sleep in big girl beds. Big girls don't pee, they pee on the potty. They don't pee their pants. Done. That was it. I was potty trained. I never wet myself. I never had accidents. That was it. I was just done. Big girls don't pee in their pants, period. Now, this is not normal. Most kids, it's a process. There's clapping. They have to kind of catch on. For me, it was just pure logic. Babies sleep in cribs. Babies pee in their diapers. So I was thinking about that this morning, and I am extra logical. I'm hyper logical from other people. So if you're like me and you're just like super logical, this is just how you are. We don't need to change who we are. We are perfect and fine just the way we are. What we need to do is we need to find and tailor the tools so they work for us. And I totally have a mosquito in here. So for me, this embodiment, I have been trying to embody my next level self for over a year, reach those next level income goals. Really, I have big goals, and I have been struggling to understand and to do this because act as if means pretend. It literally means acting, not being. And there's a huge distinction for me, and I could not reconcile this in my brain. And even my last mentor, she says, well, you list out, and I've seen this on the YouTube videos, all the other people list out those 10-20 qualities that you don't personally embody, that you wish you did. You take one or two and you start implementing them. But it's, again, when she told me to list out all the qualities your future self has, I'm like, okay, that's not me. That's not what I do. And now I have a list of everything I'm not. And you just start doing it. But again, for me, I couldn't reconcile this because this is like, well, this is what I'm not. Right? So my brain could not infuse this. Just like what I kept hearing is just keep pretending, fake it till you make it. And this doesn't sit well with me. And I'm like, how can I be my future self if I'm pretending? I am, if you don't know me, I am so not fake. I can't. I hate it. I hate fake people. I can't be around them. It's just cringe to me when I see someone who's like, and they're being fake to the other people, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I literally actually walk away because I'm like, oof, no, I can't do this. So to tell me to live my life acting, pretending that I'm something and someone I'm not, I was like, what? And then the other thing is, I think what got me is, well, what would you love to be? And this kind of almost inspired me to think that I'm not good enough as I am. And I think that was a huge mistake. Obviously, there's a disconnect in the way they're explaining it to the way my brain processes what they're explaining, which is fine because we all hear things, we all interpret things differently, right? Fair enough. But this was kind of emphasizing to me that I'm currently not good enough for my future. I need to change. Here's things I wish I could. And even to little things like, I think, oh, well, future me, let's say, okay, we're thinking long term. Future me makes $150,000 a month and she wears these beautiful clothes and they're silky and she always looks good, because I'm thinking of high level type corporate people. Like when you think of people who make lots of money, big money, you think suits and hair done and all of these extra things, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. I love dressing up, but I love wearing my sweatpants shorts. I love being comfortable. I love not wearing makeup, having my hair balled up. I mean, you've seen, I've done videos on YouTube where I don't have my makeup and I'm out walking the dogs or whatever, and I'm wearing whatever, like comfortable clothes. And so it kind of inspired me that who I am is not good enough for future money making me. So if you have this kind of brain like I do, this is so wrong to tell yourself you're not good enough. So I have come to, like, I love me. So not only did this, embodiment exercise not work and trigger me to hold me back from the things I truly want, my goals, my next level, whatever you want to call it, but it now chipped away at my confidence and kind of the image I have of myself. So now, that's like next level, double time, unproductive, and like putting me down the wrong path. So I really just, yeah, if you're a person and you don't understand this embodiment and you've been trying, like me, for it's been about a year, just over a year, I've been trying to understand this embodiment and I haven't been getting it. And I think this is it, because last week I did have this day where I was just me. And part of it was when I look back and I think, and I fully embodied me, and everything flowed and everything was easy and everything was beautiful. And I didn't have any of those cares. The key was, because don't get me wrong, that's kind of generally me usually, but I didn't have any of these thoughts popping up that I had to dissipate or dispel. I didn't have any of these, I don't even know what you call them, any doubts or any things or any second, like, okay, are we sure we don't need to put out another post? I didn't. I was just like, okay, my body, I feel like I'm done for the day. Laptop lid down, done. It was great. And I just enjoyed until I caught myself. But that's another story. But when I think back for what that was, it was because I am me. And no matter how much money I make, and no matter how big I get, and even if I'm Tony Robbins one day with the millions or the billions and the stages and all of these things, and just like over 100 companies, even if I'm that and I reach that level one day, I'm still me. I'm still going to wear my sweatpants shorts. I'm still going to, bobble around with my plants. And I love, even Extraret has a clay workshop. Oh, I'm totally taking that. I love it. I love my coloring book. I'm going to, putter with my sourdough. I'm going to be me no matter where I am in this level of success of my business and my work. And once I realized that me today is good enough for all of these things, maybe I'll have to, learn some extra investing things or different diversifying, once you get into the millions, where do you put all that? Yada, yada. But at the core of who I am, that I love not wearing makeup and I love to be comfortable no matter how big my house is. I like to have my cleanliness at a level, and I like to, have plants, whatever it might be. My core of my being now is good enough, and that is me. And then the whole trusting part is, this is the thing I realized this morning, guys. Again, if you're like me, let me know if this resonates with you. When I realized that, first of all, I am good enough. That is definitely, no matter how big I get, me at my core, my values, my morals, like who I am as a person will always be. That's it, period. But this whole, like, what does future me do? Is my content good enough? Is my program? Do I launch it this way? Do I explain it that way? Like all of these different things. What works in my mind, oddly enough, is if you've seen Harry Potter, yeah, you had to have pretty much seen Harry Potter. I think it's Prisoner of Azkaban is the movie, but where he says, I knew I could make the Patronus charm because I'd already done it. If you haven't seen the movie, what happens is they're time jumping, and he goes in his timeline, he sees his, like, I don't know, 5 hours ahead, his future self, do the Patronus charm. He doesn't know it was him at first, but he sees him do the Patronus charm. So the back in time self, knew he could do it because he already saw himself do it. So that's where he says, I knew I could do it because I've already done it. And that clicked for me this morning, where, because I was talking to my mentor about my content, and she says, it's getting better and it's good, but you're still not fully embracing your power and what exactly you want to say. Now, part of that is because I take after my Oma a lot, where I am very German and I'm very blunt and to the point, and I've been yelled at for it. I've been accosted. I have, made people cry because if you ask me a question, if you want the truth, I tell you. But not everyone, I had to learn that lesson of not everyone wants to hear the truth. Not everyone's ready for the truth. And there's a way you have to say things that aren't as hurtful as just being super blunt about it. But this is kind of how I grew up. My Oma was very blunt. It's just kind of something I've had to deal with. So in my past, I've learned to really stifle my words and control what I want to say, because I know it can be too much for a lot of people. And so the whole point of this is that I have to embrace that. That is part of who I am. I need to, again, say it in a nice manner. There's no need to make people cry, but I still need to get my point across. I still need to say what I want to say. So, she was like, you need to embrace just all of your power, fully who you are, yada, yada. And then, so I thought, yes, if you follow Bob Proctor, these gurus, where they say, if you can visualize your future, if you visualize, in the beautiful house with the successful job, with the time freedom, the money freedom, all of these things, if you can visualize yourself in that world, living that life, that is a potential future you can have. You can make that happen. Like Bob Proctor says, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand, which means you can have what you envision. You can make it happen. So then, applying this Harry Potter, I was like, oh my God, my future me, my high achieving, I have this wellness empire, I have this one-stop shop of what do you need to help progress, like help your life, mental, physical, what are the coaching you need? I want this big empire of coaches and people where clients can come and know whatever they need. They can trust my business and my brand to get that for them and give them to it. They don't have to shop around for all these different places. I've got you. I can help you. I will have the best of the best. That's like my big dream, to have this wellness empire where people can trust my brand, my name, and know that they can come and like, okay, stress, great. I'll put you in this container. Okay, diet, and you need to, health, great. You're in this container. And whatever you need, I can provide you and give you, so you're not floundering and Googling and searching and just getting frustrated and giving up. That's kind of my big dream. So when I think of, Sonia, who runs this empire, who has the time freedom, who lives in that big house that I've built and yada, yada, I thought, Well, of course, I know what to do. I've already done it. I know what content to put out. I know what launch to do. I know what things to put in my program because I've already done it to get there. I just have to relax, trust myself, and let myself know that I know, and then do the thing that pops into my mind. And that, I was like, that makes sense to me. I can do that. I get that. That I can reconcile in my brain because I've already done it, because I can envision it. That means I've been there. That's one of my potential futures, which means I know everything that I need to do. So if you're like me, and this whole like act as if, like, again, I hate to say it, but it's very pretend. I could not reconcile it. It just wouldn't make sense. This makes sense for me. So if you're like me, that hyper logical, you're, a little cut off the normal cloth, a little extra in the logic department, a little extra in the black and white. Yeah, let me know if this makes sense to you, because I think no one else has said anything like this. Everyone just keeps saying act as if, write out the things you're not, blah, blah, blah. And it just wouldn't work for me. So yeah, let me know, guys, because I think this is going to be, I'll update you in a couple of weeks and we'll see if I'm actually embodying and living and getting this. But yeah, let me know if this resonates, and let me know if I'm on to something here for those of you out there who, yeah, might be like me, might be that extra logical, who just cannot act as if. It just doesn't work for us. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. I hope you have a very wonderful rest of your day. As always, it's Thursday, which means it's practically Friday, which means have a very, very wonderful week.